Bet horse racing on DRFTV. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing. Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at an important prep race for the Breeders' Cup Distaff in this edition of Breeders' Cup Prep Recap. This is the Beldame at Belmont at Aqueduct, and it features a superstar in the sport, Nest, for Todd Pletcher. Let's watch Nest as she takes on older horses here in the Beldame. She's 1-20. She's 1-20 for a reason. This isn't the strongest Beldame in the world, and she's really, really good.
She is really, really good. It would have been nice to, maybe see some kind of a serious challenger for her in here, Dan, but it just didn't get that kind of field. Only 4 other fillies entered. None of them have the quality of Nest. And, when you see her get this kind of a trip, and she gets these trips because she's so handy, you just know that they're not going to be able to beat her. She secures the rail around the first turn. She lets the pace go. Irad will immediately take her out into the middle of the track to make sure there's nobody in front of her. And you'll see around the second turn, she'll just cruise up on these horses.
Handy is the absolute perfect word to describe her, because you saw how she grabbed that position early. She gets to the outside. She responds beautifully to all of Irad's commands. This is what you're supposed to do with a 1-20 favorite. You get her in the clear so she doesn't get stopped and she doesn't get beat. Travel Column is a horse that has shown ability in the past. She suffered through a series of layoffs. She's come back in pretty good form, and she set the pace here. She just tired pretty badly, and I have a feeling this distance might be a little far for her at this point in her career.
It does seem that way. I mean, she had run pretty well routing as a 2- and 3-year-old, but it seems like since they've come back from a layoff this year, they sort of wanted to concentrate on shorter races. They gave her a chance to stretch out here. It just doesn't work out, Dan. She has nothing left at this point already as we reach the quarter pole. Nest is going to take over, and the 2 horses to her inside, there's nothing wrong with them, Dan. They are not the equal of Nest, and they have absolutely no chance from here.
And this is a carbon copy of the Alabama, this stretch run. Nest clear, drifting in slightly towards the inside while just dominating her opposition. She'll earn a 1:01 buyer speed figure in this Beldame, 3 points off her career best, a 1:04 earned in the Coaching Club American Oaks. And ever since the Belmont Stakes, a race in which she ran second to the boys behind the now retired Mo Donegal, she has just put her game to another level, and she is a major contender in a stacked Breeders' Cup Distaff.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how she classes up against some really, really strong older fillies and mares, Dan. She's going to have, it's going to be a much more difficult race for her, but based on what she's been doing all year, basically, as a 3-year-old, don't be surprised if Nest is up for that kind of a challenge. She's really good.
Shug McGahee's first to act took the race to Travel Column, eventually got the better of that one, was no match for Nest in running second. I'd be curious to see how she does next year. Shug McGahee trained horses normally improve with maturity and experience, and I could see this mare as maybe a nice grade 2 or grade 3 type in 2023.
Oh, absolutely. I can see that as well. She's very lightly raced. She's a 4-year-old already, but she's very lightly raced. It feels like she's, typical Shug kind of stuff, Dan, getting better with each and every start. And she has stretched out very effectively. I was a little concerned earlier this year when they started to go longer with her because it's a little bit of a sprinty pedigree on the dam side, but she's handled it fine.
I think we've seen Travel Column's best. She has done very well in her career. I'm just not sure if she's going to get better. She doesn't seem to me like a Breeders' Cup horse. If you were going to try it, would you turn her back in a race like the Filly and Mare Sprint and hope for the best?
You can't. I mean, none of these other horses can go in the distaff, that's for sure. They'd be in way over their heads.
Hybrid Eclipse in the Grass is Blue is likely in here to get the grade 1 placing. Grade 2 placing. Hybrid Eclipse did so. Let's take a closer look at the lovely Nest, a daughter of Curlin. She has a beautiful pedigree. She's a half-sister to Idol, who won the Big Cap, I believe, and was recently retired. And as you can see from her record, she shows up every time. She's never been off the board. Classic placed against the boys. Her Saratoga season, you could argue, she and Epicenter vied for horse of the meet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely true, Dan. They both, the top 3-year-old Colt showed up and did what he was supposed to do. The top 3-year-old filly showed up and did what she was supposed to do. She was really impressive in those races. And it's going to, again, be very interesting to see what happens when she steps up, because it's time to find some tougher competition for this filly.
and she is going to find some tougher competition, the likes of her older stablemate Malathaat, perhaps Clairiere, perhaps Travel Column, you name it. It's a very good field expected to line up for the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Let's take a look at the prices for the Beldame. As short a price as you're going to get. Nest pays $210 to win for Pletcher. First to act completes the Exacta. She pays $310 to place. Nest on her way to the Breeders' Cup Distaff. She's truly one of the superstars of the game.